Want to this morning, since you called us over, is number one, just thank the community for their prayers, for their messages. I received an email that I tweeted out this morning from a friend named Chris Mayer out of Austin that has just really touched my heart, and I wanted to share it on social media, so hopefully it'll touch other hearts. It really captures what Sergeant Brewster was about and what our men and women in blue that honor and honor the badge and honor the oath of office are about. And I'm going to share it with my team and our folks later on another email. But it's really great to see that support from the community. So this morning what we're doing is we're moving Chris to the next step of his journey, to his final resting point. This morning the chiefs and I have been meeting Joe Gamal, that we've brought him over to talk about. We know that part of this journey won't end. The final step won't be until we go to Washington, D.C. in May, where he will be placed on the National Memorial. And we know that heroes never die because they're never forgotten. And I'm thankful that John F. Kennedy, through his legislation back in the day, started the beginning of the Law Enforcement Peace Officers Memorial. And sadly, when we were dealing with this weekend, within a matter of a few hours, 2 more American police officers were gunned down in our nation. One in Arkansas, who happens to be the son of one of our sergeants that's just retired a year ago, who was murdered sitting in his police car, and another one was killed in Alabama. So it's just it's a little disheartening when you see more. It seems that when you look at the number of police officers we have in this country and how many are being killed and gunned down, it's disheartening that it just seems to be there's an uptick right now. And so with that, I'll open up to any questions, but we're going to be making this movement here hopefully in the next 15 minutes or so.
Is there any obvious reason that you see why more police officers are dying around?
Well, I think part of the problem is gun violence is an everyday occurrence in our nation. In our city, in all big cities, it doesn't discriminate. It seems to impact just about big cities and rural communities. We have gun violence going on all the time. And just last week we had a press conference with Mayor Turner and myself and our great advocates at the Houston Area Women's Center that we know do such great work in protecting women and children and families from domestic violence abusers. I got in a little Twitter exchange with Senator Corner when we were talking about we've got to get the Violence Against Women's Act acted upon. They need to get in a room. I don't want to hear about how much they support law enforcement. I don't want to hear how much they care about lives and the sanctity of lives, yet we all know in law enforcement that one of the biggest reasons that the Senate and Mitch McConnell and John Cornyn and Ted Cruz and others are not getting into a room and having a conference committee with the House and getting the Violence Against Women's Act is because the NRA doesn't like the fact that we want to take firearms out of the hands of boyfriends that abuse their girlfriends. And who killed our sergeant? A boyfriend abusing his girlfriend. So you're either here for women and children and our daughters and our sisters and our aunts, or you're here for the NRA. So I don't want to see their little smug faces about how much they care about law enforcement when I'm burying a sergeant because they don't want to piss off the NRA. Make up your minds. Whose side are you on? Gun manufacturers, the gun lobby, or the children are getting gunned down in this country every single day? In our schools, in our theaters, in our colleges, on our streets, in our homes, in our businesses. Who are you coming to work for? And don't tell me, Senator, with all due respect, it's about the impeachment. Because you brag every day, you and Mitch McConnell, about getting judges confirmed. You brag about every piece of legislation you care about. Start caring about cops, children, and women, and everyday gun violence. And that will be the last thing I say this week, because the rest of this week is going to be about Christopher Brewster and his sacrifice, and the fact that his mom, his father, his wife, his sisters, his friends, and ultimately the community that he laid his life for will be putting him to rest before Christmas because of the cowardice of the political people that we have in office. You're not a Republican, you're not a Democrat, you're not a conservative, you're not a liberal, you're not a progressive. You are an American, and American blood is being shed every day in this community, throughout this nation. And do something about it or retire. And I don't care if I lose my job today or tomorrow, but as long as I have breath in my lungs, I will speak out on the behalf of these police officers and the community that they serve. Choose sides. It is right and wrong, and it's not that complicated. Keep firearms in the hands of law-abiding Americans of sound minds and not out of the hands of abusers. Right now in this country, and I've talked to this issue with Senator Cornyn about him, to his in person, when we go to a home of a domestic abuser at night in this country right now that beats the bejesus out of his wife or his domestic partner, right now in this country, when our officers, when that abuser hears that siren coming and gets out, gets away, and we find this woman beaten to a pulp, and we get a felony warrant in this country right now, today as we speak, and we enter that warrant and this person's a fugitive from justice. In the past, we were able to put that person in the national instant background check, and they couldn't get a firearm, and all of a sudden, this Department of Justice decided they haven't been convicted. Well, life's about common sense and good judgment. And my common sense and judgment tells me that when a man beats up their wife or a boyfriend beats up their girlfriend, and we get a lawfully issued arrest warrant, they should not be able to go to a sporting goods store and buy a weapon and come back and finish the job. So with that, I'll open up to any other questions, and we got to move.
Why do you want this part of his journey from the medical examiner's office to the funeral home? Why do you want that?
Because this is important for the criminal element to understand that although we are hurting, we are together, we are unified, and we will close ranks, and we will come out stronger. And we want Sergeant Brewster's family to understand that his life mattered to us. His sacrifice matters to us. And most importantly, it matters to the people that we have taken the oath to serve and protect. It sends a very powerful message. And lastly, it sends a message to all these young police officers that you see around here in this city serving in their early 20s and their families, that should they make the ultimate sacrifice, it will not be in vain, and that they will not be forgotten, and that their families will not be left alone. Because we owe that to this generation of cops and the next generation of cops. And that's why we're here. And so on Thursday, we shut down the freeways so politician comes in, whether it's a Democratic president or a Republican president, can go raise money, campaign contributions. Well, we're going to shut down the freeways on Thursdays, and we're going to inconvenience you. So if we inconvenience you, we're sorry. But I'm going to say this. Christopher Brewster will never walk this earth again. His beautiful wife that we remember in February, and his mother and father that was so joyful when he promoted in February of last year, will never see their son again. So I'm sorry about your inconvenience, but we're going to give him a farewell that is befitting of a hero. Okay? Anything else? Because I have to go. Bien rápido en español. Estamos aquí para darle honor a nuestro colega Christopher Brewster. Estaba hablando en inglés que me da tanto genio que tenemos políticos que no están actuando para sacar las armas de fuego de las manos de hombres que están abusando de las mujeres porque son novios, y es hora para cambiar la ley. El que es abusador de una mujer es una persona que no debe tener armas de fuego, y es tiempo para que el Senado de los Estados Unidos hagan lo que tengan que hacer para proteger a nuestras familias, a nuestras madres, a nuestras hijas, de los novios o de quien sea. Pero esta semana va a ser una semana de darle honor a un héroe que dio su vida en el servicio de esta comunidad. Okay? So thank you all very much for being here.